Hey everybody, welcome to the round 5 player ratings video. It's the morning after, the day before, the stress has gone, it was a good sleep, and feeling good, 4-1, a tight tussle, a lot to work on, but a win nonetheless, and winning is the most important thing. It's not the only thing that matters, but it's the most important thing that matters. So feeling good about it. It is also the 4th birthday of Blue Abroad. I realized this morning when I woke up, started this all on the 18th of April 2018. Now the YouTube channel started in 2019, but everything started in 2018. So I do want to express some gratitude, feeling good, feeling the love, and feeling pretty special as to what's happened and where we're at. And I think it ties in very well with Doing a Bit, which is the proud sponsor of the player ratings videos here on the channel. Doing a Bit is all about doing a bit, chasing your dreams, whatever it is you're doing. If you're wanting to work on yourself, if you wanted to start that business idea, start whatever you're doing, you're just doing a bit. So Mark Sanders, appreciate your support. And without any further ado, let's get into the player ratings. Now, the way I like to do it is just start the conversation. None of these ratings are official. None of them are right. None of them are wrong. They're just really a conversation starter here. And you will finish the conversation in the comments below. I'm going to give everyone a score out of 10, like a vote. And I like to look at things individually. So what one player gets has absolutely nothing to do with what another player gets. It's just their personal situation. I guess what I expect from them, if they perform really well and they're a really young, inexperienced player, I think I give them a little bit extra. And then I think if they're a senior player, leader, I, obviously expect more from them as well. So we'll see how we go. I'm going to go through the team as it was named, and we'll go from there. Starting in the back line, Zach Williams, Lewis Young, Sam Doherty. Zach Williams, I thought he played well. I thought he continued on from last week. Probably wasn't as damaging with ball in hand, but I think defensively he's gone up another level this year. I think his work rate has gone up another level this year. Had a couple of turnovers, which can be frustrating at times, but ultimately had the 24. He gets us going. He really gets us going. He had 8 rebound 50s, which is an important stat. He had 582 meters gained. Anything around 500 is elite. So he's really generating our movement forward from the back half as well. So I gave him an 8. I think there's still room for improvement, especially with those 6 turnovers. Had a couple of good intercepts as well. But yeah, definitely room for improvement there. I think all of them are going to have a little bit of a point shaved off for that, apart from a couple of standouts. Now, Lewis Young, I thought it was a step forward. I thought his first game was good. I thought his second game, which was last week, was a little bit iffy. And then I actually thought he played a really strong defensive game yesterday and looked a little bit more assured, which was good to see. It's important. That next defender that we have with Wiedering, it's crucial. And we're hanging on. I sense that we're hanging on, and I'm just hoping that Lewis Young can just keep developing. I gave him a 7 for his game. I really liked what I saw from Lewis Young. Honestly, I really did. I think he had I think it was 7 spoils or 7 intercepts, something like that. It was a really good stat from Lewis Young. Yeah, 7 intercepts. And so I toyed with giving him an 8. Maybe I still should, but I gave him a 7. Doc wasn't probably not as influential as last week. However, he rarely wastes a disposal. He had 21 possessions and he went at 95% disposal efficiency. So I thought he was solid. Just a really solid contribution. And, he's got himself to a level where even when he's not the best player on the ground, his minimum standard always, stands out. So I gave him an 8 for his game. Definitely room for improvement there, but they all have it. Sardi, I gave him a 7. He's exciting, isn't he? He's really exciting. I thought defensively he was one of the key pillars that really held us together, especially late. So I don't know if 7 is a little harsh, but I just felt my instinct told me it was a 7. Could be an 8. You let me know in the comments. Jacob Wiedering, if you look at his specific situation, we're talking about a guy that, led the football club, captained the club yesterday, and our back line, it cannot go understated. We're hanging on, I feel, with our key pillars. And the reason why I say that is because obviously you got Wiedering there. Lewis Young is still just coming into his own. He's still developing. So Wiedering, I give him a lot of responsibility and I almost give him extra brownie points when he leads well. So I gave him an 8 for his game. I liked his game. I thought he played really well, defended well, spoiled well, did what he needed to do. And as a leader of the club yesterday, I was really happy with how he went about it. So gave him an 8. Luke Parks, I liked his game. The one thing about Parks you can never, ever question is just his endeavour and the way he goes about it. He's a trier. He's a job doer. I gave him a 6. I thought he was above a pass mark. Didn't think he was super influential, but obviously he's not there to be a star. He's there to do a job and perform a role, and I thought he performed his role on the day. So I gave him a 6. In the centre line, we got Walshy, Hewitt, and Jack Noons. Sammy Walsh, that first quarter from Sam Walsh was... Mate, it was something else. Because the question mark going in was, all right, Walsh, you've had a couple of games back from the syndesmosis surgery. He even, by his own admission, said that he just wasn't feeling as match fit as what he could be. He's still struggling with it. He's limping on it. He's just battling through, and he was outstanding. 38 possessions, 400 meters gained. Just went really well yesterday, and I gave him a 10 for his game. I gave a couple of 10s out because got a little bit carried away, and I thought Walsh was one of them. George Stewart also got a 10. Can't underestimate what he did yesterday. He had 33 possessions and went at 91% disposal efficiency, 19 contested possessions. He played the Patrick Cripps type game, and he won't get the fanfare that Patrick Cripps does, but he was arguably best on ground. Take your pick, him, Walsh or Curnow for me. So I gave him a 10 for his game. I love him. He's quickly becoming one of my favourite players. He's just a no nonsense, no fuss. And when the going gets tough, he gets going. He just rises and rises, and that's going to come in handy because you want to be able to trust certain players, and I think when it gets tough, you look for certain individuals to lead. George Hewitt, mate, get him in the leadership group next year. He is a leader of this club already. I'm just seeing it. I'm seeing it. He's someone that I, as a fan, watch and rely on and trust now, and it's taken 5 games. It's amazing. He's been our best recruit. I'm trying to think. I'm getting carried away. He's our best recruit since Chris Judd. I'm not kidding. He's our best recruit since Chris Judd. I'm trying to think. Let me know in the comments. Who's been a better recruit since Juddy? You let me know. Jack Noons, I didn't mind his game. I gave him a 7. You can see he's not... There's sort of like a level to where he's at. He's just he comes in, he plays a role. And there's the discussion around him and Lockie O'Brien. Now, yep, Lockie's got a nice booming left kick and when he's out in space and all of that. But when Lockie's offense gets taken away, I think his defensive game is nowhere near the level of what Noons is. Now, Noons had a couple of contests yesterday where he just held up the play. He stuck a tackle. He's got that bigger frame and he's able to be a little bit more physical in the contest. So what we lacked from Lockie O'Brien offensively, did we miss so much yesterday? I don't know. Maybe a little bit. But when Noons is playing, I know that defensively and in a contested way, he's going to be able to stand up. He's going to be able to really crack in. And he had 3 tackles, but I thought his pressure was good as well. He wasn't super outstanding, but he also played his role pretty well. I don't expect too much from Jack Noons. So he had the 18 possessions, mind you. Still did a pretty good job, I thought. 6 inside 50s is a pretty good game. So I gave him a 7. The half forward line, Matt Owies, Charlie Curnow, Corey Durden. Matt Owies, I gave him a 6. I thought his first half in particular was really impressive. Really impressive. His tackling pressure was good. He stood up. He faded away like most, if not all of them in that second half. But nonetheless, I gave him a 6 for his game. Charlie, we quickly forget the past. We really do. Charlie Curnow iced the game for us and won the game for us yesterday, I thought. Went back, kicked his 5. He was a trouble. He was a problem for Alir, just a problem. And he's getting better. He's actually getting better. If you really take a step back and let the stress just go away, Charlie Curnow is getting better each week. He's looking a lot more better, and it's exciting because it relieves Harry, and then Harry has his turn, So I gave Charlie a 10, the 5 goals. I'm just so happy for him. I think there's a little bit more emotion as well because of where he's come from. So I'm probably giving him a little bit extra, but I don't care. Fight me on it. Charlie was a player of the game. He won us the game, and I gave him a 10. Corey Durden, I gave him the pass mark. He started well, probably similar to he started well, seemed to just not be able to get out of that first gear, I think by his own admission. But we love him. These are just the learning games for him. He's a player that I'm willing to ride that with. As long as he's able to find that minimum standard, I think that's the challenge. And these are just the early parts of his career. And we've got so many more games and years to come. But we love him. He's a ripper. So I gave him just a pass mark for his game. The forward line, Zach Fisher, Harry Mackay, Jack Silvani, Zach Fisher, running down the wing. Zach Fisher, I think that was one of the best games he's played for the club. My mind goes to the West Coast game where he kicked a bunch. I think he had a 27 possession game early in his career, but we got belted that day. So I think this is right up there with his best game of his career. It was tough. He played a little bit more up the ground, was more influential, I thought, overall. Kicked the 2 goals, obviously that helps as well. When you have 22 possessions, you go at 82%, you kick 2 goals. I think that helps. I just thought his score involvements, I don't know exactly what they were. Maybe I can get them up right now. Stand by. Yeah, 6 score involvements. When he's in the chain, he fits in. He's not out of place when he's in the chain, and got me thinking yesterday. I know he's kicked 2 goals and we love him in the forward, but he's a winger. I think he's the wing solution, or one of the wing solutions. I'd like to see him up there. I think he's also going to build the tank up as we go. And touch wood, he's healthy. Probably got some niggles. They probably all do at this point as well, a little bit sore. But I really like Zach Fisher's game, and I really don't understand some of the commentary from the fan base around him. Like, what do you want from him? I thought he was great. I love him, and I think he's just coming along nicely. So, also led the team in pressure acts with 21, as did Sam Walsh. He had 21 as well. So, Zach Fisher, I gave him a 9 for his game. Maybe even give him a 10, I don't know. I'll give him a 9. Harry gave him an 8, kicked the 3, had the 18 touches, really got him amongst it a lot. I thought he played well. Room for improvement, as all of them have, but I gave him an 8. Jack Silvani, can't stop loving him. Just tries his guts out. Gave Pitto a chop out. We can't forget how tough it is for Jack to be playing in that ruck role. And the thing about it and what it does is it allows Jack to be a bit more around the ball. I personally think Jack Silvani is a midfielder, personally. I really do. I think he's a midfielder, and I wish we had 2 of them so we could have 1 up forward and 1 in the midfield. But when he gets the ruck minutes, he gets to be a midfielder. So I think it works well. The question mark is really moving forward. Is it Pitto and TDK with Jack helping out, or is it just Pitto and Jack with an extra mid or a small in the team? I'm not sure. These are just questions I think we're going to have answered as we go throughout the year. I don't think there is a set 22 for every week. I think it just changes. It's a case-by-case basis. It worked against Port, obviously inexperienced ruckman. I don't know if it's going to work as well next week. We'll have to wait and see. But I gave Jack an 8 for his game. The followers, Pitto, Chera, Setterfield. Pitto, I gave him a 9. 16 hit-outs to advantage. 16. Thought his first half was exceptional. And I think it was the game where a lot of us, look at it and realise, oh, that's why Mark Pitternet plays in this team, because of what he brings. He might not be a super duper star, but he's a super duper role player and a super duper job doer. That works. Tried his guts out. Definitely needs a chop out. And that's where the question of, for me, the ideal situation is we need Tom playing in the team, but we need Tom in form, and Tom's not in form. So I get why Tom didn't play in this game, and he needs to find that form. Tom de Koning, I wish we could just sort of inject 3 years into him right now and have him playing today, and I think we're set. So I think it's an evolving situation, and we've got to be patient with it. But I did like Pitto's game, gave him a 9. Chera, that's what I want to see. That's Adam Chera. 32 possessions, went at 84% disposal efficiency. Played a bit more of an outside game, which I personally like. I did flag it a little bit early in the year. I wanted to see Setterfield maybe on the ball a bit and Chera on the outside. I think that's something that works. I really did enjoy that, and he used the ball well, got enough of it, linked up really well with Sam Walsh, particularly in that first quarter, and it looked really good. I think the 2 of them have just got to figure themselves out a bit, and that's going to take time. So gave Chera a 9. Setters, I thought his first quarter was really good. Top-notch, really good. Then just seemed to I don't know. I left the game thinking, yeah, it was all right. It was okay. I gave him a 7 because he still got enough of the ball, still used it well at times. It went at 78%, which is above average. He had the 5 intercepts. He's ticking along. It's a weird situation. He's kind of just there. I'm not sure how to adjudicate him, if I'm being totally honest. And one thing we need to always remember, and I need to always remember, is I don't know anything. I don't know what the instructions are on the inside. So I'm just calling it from my lens on the outside without having the full context of what his role was and what the coaches are asking of him. But they obviously gave the faith in him to play him. So thought he was all right. I gave him a 7. The bench was Matt Kennedy, Jack Martin, Nick Newman and Cottrell, with Dow as the sub. Kennedy, it was all right. It was 20 touches at 80%. Definitely want him to be up on the 24 plus bracket of possessions. That's where we need him to be. For us to be a great team, he needs to stay consistent at that level. I thought it was all right, though. It was a lot better than last week. Had a couple of strong marks, had a couple of strong moments. Wasn't out of sorts. Would just like a little bit more from him. So for that reason, I gave him a 7. Jack Martin, that is Jack Martin. That's the one. That's him. That is the one right there. That's the one. It was probably his best game since his first game. And he faded as well. A lot of them did. But he did a lot of his work early. 17 possessions. Could have used the ball a little bit better, but we're working with the way it is. I believe he had. Let's go to the score involvements, because it was an impressive stat. It stuck out to me. It was 10 score involvement. That's elite. That is elite. So that's the standard. That's what I want to see from Jack Martin. That's what we pay him for. He's a good player. He's a really good player. He's a senior player. He's a 27-year-old. That is the standard. Minimum. 17-ish touches. He's got to be hitting the scoreboard. He's good enough to be kicking 1 to 2 goals a game. Let's just say an average of 1.5 a game. And I'm happy for him. I am. And he clearly is someone that just needs game time, match fitness. And I understand why they played him, and I understand he could have been dropped last week to send a message, but I'm glad they stuck fat with him, and I'm glad he repaid us. So well done to Jack Martin. It's good to be talking about him in a positive light, but obviously would like to see him continue on with that, because he's a guy that can definitely be getting 20s, 22 touches as well. Now, Nick Newman, gave him a pass mark. I didn't feel personally like he was as influential. Now, defensively, he was okay, and that's obviously something that doesn't always show up on the stat sheet, but given what he's been doing over the first month of the season, just a down game by his own standards. And that's a credit to him and what he's been able to do this season so far. So I gave him a pass mark for his game. Cottrell, well done. Well done, Cotters. Came in the side, worked his butt off, 22 touches. Yeah, he butchered the ball a little bit, but that doesn't matter because he's a goer and he's a trier, and when we win it's okay. I think it's an evolving situation, and I think the reality is we just don't know who it's going to be on the wing. Is it going to be a Lockie O'Brien and whatnot, or is it going to be Cottrell? And, it's the spot is up for grabs. So I think it's going to be a situation of whoever's playing well gets the spot, and as soon as they dip off, boom, they get replaced. I think that cutthroat mentality is important for us, and I think that's a developing situation. And the other part as well that I want to always remember is let's give Cottrell and Lockie O'Brien and the like, let's give them a chance to have an extended period of time under Michael Voss. Let's give them that chance. So they will be better, I hope for it, that there's a better coaching group around them. That's what I feel. That's a certainty for me. We have a better coaching group that's going to be able to get more out of these type of players. So I hope for that situation to evolve, and I just put the faith in the selection table to just select it as they wish, because I don't know any better. That's the truth. And finally, Paddy Dow obviously didn't play, but I do want to get some thoughts around Paddy Dow being the sub. Because on the one hand, I'm thinking, no, it doesn't matter. He's got to be ready to play. If someone goes down, we need him there. And I understand that, and I get that, and I agree with that. And then the other side of me says, well, would have been good to get a game into him, because now he doesn't play a game. What happens next week? Does he stay as the sub? It's a really interesting situation. I'd love to know your thoughts. Would you have preferred him to play a game in the VFL, or would you prefer him to be the sub and just have to keep knocking the door and banging it down until he gets his spot? So Those are my player ratings. Please let me know in the comments below whether you think one should be higher or lower, and let me know which one, and let me know what the score should be in your opinion, and we'll chat about it. We'll tally them up at the end of the season and see who is crowned the Blue Abroad Player of the Year. Once again, thank you very much for being a part of the journey. Hope you're enjoying it as much as I am. I think you are, and happy 4th birthday to Blue Abroad, all of you out there, all the community, and we'll go from there. Go the Mighty Blues.